1st, Saturday, approximately 1:08 p.m. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is doing well. Of course. Just chilling here, about to go drop off some more firewood. Had another order for a face cord today, so not too shabby. Dropping off a face cord. About to go do some lift. And split up some firewood tomorrow and work on some lawsuits. And I got to brief the court. I have to amend some complaints to add that judge's order, right, from yesterday. How much is a face cord downstate? Depends, obviously, but I've seen it as low as $80. That's not very common, though. Usually you'll see it about 120 to 150, somewhere around there, depending on if it's seasoned, if it's wet, what type of wood it is. I've seen it as high as 180, 200, if it's really sought after wood, right? Like oak or like black honey locust or something like that. I've seen it that high, but I let mine go for 100, which is probably low. It's probably too low, but you know, the wood that I mainly produce is outdoor firewood. So you know, people are less worried about it being really seasoned, and you know, people just want shit that they can burn in their fire pits. So, and they usually want, you know, cheaper, right? Because if you're burning it outside, especially, you know. So, yeah, I've been letting my face cords of maple go for 100. That's picked up. Now, if they want it delivered, obviously, then, you know, that's like, I charge $50 for delivery, especially in this car, because it's going to take me probably, you know, 3 or 4 trips. So, but yeah, that's how we do it. But yeah, 120, like the 140 down the road from me. That's what the tree service company charges. But that's just for a standard, you know, variety of wood. That's not, you know, anything that's like sought after is more. So it can get up there in price. I try to keep it, you know, reasonable. Try to give people, you know, really good value for their money. Same way I'm trying to do my my politicking, right? I'm just trying to provide good value and transparency and accountability, and something that is interesting, right? Something that makes you want to tune in. So I try to do the same approach to all my endeavors, right? I have 100% positive feedback on Disabled Vet Source. And that's, you know, part of the reason why that is just like, again, I believe in customer satisfaction. I believe in servant leadership, and I believe in taking care of your customers, taking care of your people, and you know, those are ultimately whom matter, right? Their opinion. So to have 100% positive feedback on eBay, hundreds of orders, and five out of 5 star average out of Lyft, right? So I've been doing Lyft for almost 10 years on and off, and yeah, I've done over almost 1,200 rides, and I've never had any complaints out of 1,200. So it's a pretty good track record And then, I'm trying to apply the same thing, the same formula, if you will, to the firewood operation, to the pond operation that we have, right? Because Zook Pond is a lot more than just a, medical device. It's a lot more than just a spinal stenosis. I have spinal stenosis, so it's more than just, a way to kind of alleviate that, and, physical therapy and all that. It's more than just fishing, right? It's more than just a memorial. It's more than just a stormwater retention pond, right? It's more than that, right? What we're trying to do with Zook Pond is really, we're trying to do something really unique in the area for veterans and for children, right? We are in the process of getting the land declared conservational. Basically, we're trying to get it declared, conservation land, and there's certain things we want to do grant-wise and funding-wise with the pond, right? Because it is a, eco-life. It's going to be a wildlife focal point, eco-life or ecosystem focal point, right, for the entire area, the lower River Rouge and the Hunter Drain, and the others in the surrounding area. It's really going to be a key feature for that whole ecosystem, and we're going to make it a wildlife attraction, and all that, but we want to do something for veterans, conservation, and conservation works, and, something therapeutic for veterans, for people, and memorial. Of course, first and foremost, that's what kind of the city of Wayne's biggest problem. They just have a problem with me, and obviously putting a big ass body of water in the city of Wayne, or the village of Wayne for that matter. Never been done before, so that's a huge political win. That's a huge, kind of a centerpiece for the neighborhood, if you will, right? For the whole area, really for the whole community, for the whole city. So for that side of Wayne, northwest side of Wayne, that's it's as good as it gets, right? So, we're trying to do something with it that's gonna, kind of check a lot of boxes, and that's part of the reason why, other than we were kind of forced to get the topo survey, the topographic topo survey, topo, however you call it, however you pronounce it, and then we've received, we have a site plan too, so we're really going with everything. We're doing everything by the book. We're going overkill, really, and it's because we have so many ideas and plans and things in the works for Zook Pond, and so Veterans Conservation Pond, but I just call it Zook Pond for short. I like it, so that's what we're working on. That's what we're working on, guys. And God willing, we'll have it done, constructed by May, but definitely by June, no doubt. Unless the city of Wayne locks me in a cage, it'll be done. But even then, it's already, like I said, it's already funded. We did have to spend another $1,000 more than we were anticipating. My wife did, for the site plan for the pond. So, there's always some unexpected costs, right? Especially with anything that's involving public infrastructure, a retention pond of this size, of this magnitude. It's a lot of moving parts, right? Because you have the Wayne County Drain Commission involved. You have the state of Michigan through Eagle. You have the VA involved. That's the federal government. Of course, the city of Wayne, Michigan is, trying to be involved, although it's not working out too well for them. The administration, that is, right? Because they administratively tried to halt and impede and stop this pond project, and so we're excited to get it started, to get it constructed, right? We're shooting for May, but I think with the added expenses, and plus we have lawsuits to file and lots of complaints, and we're probably it's probably gonna end up costing more money than we initially thought. So we're trying to do 10 things at once, and we're doing it, but we do need to refine things a bit and be a bit more concise, and not try to do too much, right? Try to really hone in and master the key and the basics, and I think we're doing a good job. I really do. But we could always improve and do better, of course. I'll never be satisfied, right? I don't think you can be. I think there's always room for improvement, room to improve and strive, and I just don't like to get in the habit of being complacent or taking a break, or I believe, I really truly believe that an object that stays in motion, or an object in motion tends to stay in motion, right? And I think life's really about momentum, and a lot of things, sports, a lot of things are about momentum, right? And so I feel like I have the momentum, and I have to, just snowball effect it, right? Just go for broke, right? Double down with house money at this point, you know what I mean? And then split, double down, double that shit face up, right? I don't want it face down. I want it face up. Makes the game more exciting. It makes it more exciting when you double up, right? When you double your 11 and you draw an ace, and so now you're looking at a hard 12, and then the dealer flips a 15 or something, right? Then bust, right? So we definitely, regardless of the outcome, it's certainly not going to be for a lack of tenacity, right? For a lack of desire, for a lack of will, right? It's not going to be because of, I can't guarantee an outcome, but I can say that it's not going to be because of a lack of effort or a lack of clarification or thoroughness. If I have to request leave or an adjournment, I will do whatever I got to do in order to make sure that justice is ultimately served. And it's just something that it's personal to me, right? And it's I believe it matters. I believe this case, these cases, right, ever since May 9th, not only does the world have to know, but my family and I, we deserve vindication. My neighbors, the people in the community that cherish us, and they there's so many people that cherish the Constitution and cherish the Bill of Rights and cherish what it is to be an American, right? And what makes America America, right? Which is, our laws, our traditions, our customs, policies, our practices. And our demographics, right? So, historical demographics, right? So, there's a few things that make, America, and if you impede that, long enough, people aren't gonna sit back and let it happen forever. At some point, people are en masse gonna say that enough is enough, and of course release the Epstein files, and that's all you gotta do, guys. Release them Epstein files, prosecute all the PDF files, and then we'll talk. I might even bring you another. Like I said, shit show. Oh, I got some more in here. I forgot about. Don't forget about this.
Yeah, that's fucked, dude.
No,
Yeah.
it's all good. No, I told him.
Hopefully you get some money out of him.
Well, I will. I told him. I said, what, I already have a killer lawsuit based on what I can prove right now, the evidence, the receipts I have right now.
Yeah.
But
Good.
once that discovery hits, once I actually get a hold of some of that, those internal communications, those dispatch logs,
Yeah.
those chain of custody,
Yeah.
Okay, so who wrote this? We know who wrote the open burn policy. We didn't know when it was written.
Right.
Who authorized this shit? You know, I mean, there's so many different
They
things.
did it just because of you. But what's
Yeah.
funny is that's a fuck up because they didn't have it beforehand.
Right, right. Well, that's the thing. They did it and they were stupid about it.
Yeah.
They overplayed the game.
Yeah. Yup.
Way too many fucking breadcrumbs. It all like now it's like just this huge crazy lawsuit already, bro. But like I said, dude, it ain't even gotten started yet, dude. I haven't even gotten like 10% of what I requested. Dude, they were saying, well, it's not germane, it's not relevant. The judge is like, well, I'm the judge.
Yeah.
I'm the one who gets to determine what's admissible and what's not, what's relevant. It's like I don't know how you guys get to, just decide.
Right.
I mean, he was blown away by it, but he basically let him hang. He let him hang. He was like, at my expense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let him out of jail, but he's gonna be on a GPS tether and gotta live at his mom's up north and be on house arrest and shit, can't work, can't go to the store. My wife's pregnant, got a 2 or 3 year old. I said, so my wife's pregnant, I got a 3-year-old, I can't, my wife don't have a driver's license, so I can't leave the house to go to the store. I'm going to jail. I said, man, this is, I mean, I was just like, I know that this, one day, once this is analyzed, I said, they're fucked. I said, especially once I proved to the judge, hey, there was no actual law that they were enforcing. So they were enforcing nothing, and I interfered with the enforcement of nothing. Yeah. Well, that doesn't work. Yeah. That's called impossibility of probable cause. Yeah. Because it's all about probable cause. If you don't have any probable cause,
it's all about what fucking ordinance there really is that exists.
Right.
It doesn't fucking exist.
Well, even if there's an ordinance, let's say, the fact that they came on the property without a warrant, it's still unconstitutional because the courts, the circuit court, the U.S. Court of Appeals in Michigan has ruled for like 100 years. Unless it's like a true life or death situation, and you have reasonable belief that it is. And then, of course, like once you come on the property and you see there's no life or death fire, well, then you gotta leave. You can't just stick around and go through it all. It's called due process. You want me to put it out? Well, then you can, declare it a nuisance. You can go to the city council. You could summon me to appear in front of you, and then we can argue it on the record. And if you side against me, I appeal it, and then we go to court if we have to. And, I mean, there's a process. You can't just fucking come in and be like, oh, party's over. Party's over, buddy. I know you live here and you own this shit.
Right.
I wasn't invited here, and I don't, but party's over, bro. I tried nicely.
We had the power outage here one time for a couple of days, and I had friends over there, and old ass, Weber barbecue grill, and I was like, fuck it, we're gonna have a fire in this bitch. Well, it was about 3 in the morning, and we were playing the music a little loud, and a cop who was just getting off duty pulled up into my driveway. He was like, hey man, look, I get it, I know there's no power, but come on, man, Trinity's, I was like, all right, are we good with the fire? And this is fuck 15 years ago, man. He goes, yeah, you're fine. It was in a barbecue grill, it was no fine, yeah. He's like, fine with that. He's like, just keep me now. I'm like, all right, cool, man. So, yeah, man.
No,
I hope something good comes from that for you, man.
Oh, it will. I mean, it's already. I mean, it's just it's that officer discretion.
Yeah.
The unfettered discretion is what it's called.
Sure.
Because that's what their ordinance that they passed. Even like it's totally unconstitutional. Like it basically. about, it's too wet. You're the only motherfucker I know who says the pussy's too wet.
Well, it'll dry, man.
A flash flood down there.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah, we got a lot of rain, yeah. It'll dry up.
You can't even tell it's shifting.
Need some
Done
fucking
deal.
something skunk, bro.
It's a done deal. I
Yeah.
got you. Hopefully, I mean, it's what they call skunk number one. I hope Dave's right on his genetic, but
I just need one good fucking pheno, bro. That's
Yeah.
all I need.
Yeah.
And I'll clone the shit out of it,
Yeah.
make a whole room of it.
Yeah.
That's all I need, bro. Just one.
we'll get one, man.
All right, buddy.
All right, brother.
See you now. Hello, sexy people. Welcome back. Welcome fucking back to the show. Welcome back to the show. How's everybody doing? Likey, huh? Yeah. Oh, baby, don't pull out in front of me, oh, baby. All right, we are officially fucking done with the wood for today. Tomorrow, though, we have a lot more wood to split up, cut up, split up. Won't be a problem. Damn, look like the Popo got somebody up in front of me. Yeah, I should stop and check them out, but I'm kind of running late. Kind of got some shit to do. I gotta make some money, man. Gotta make some money. Benjamin Franklin, that's my favorite. That's all I think about, Benjamin Franklin. Infatuated with Big Ben Franklin. Oh shit, got a little parade or something. I don't know what's going on up there. What's everybody fucking doing? What's everybody doing? CBD chat with Mayor Vince. Or, you know, the Seath Lord, right? The Seath Lord, Ray-Ban Vince, Versace Vince. You know, your soon-to-be councilman. Because I am got my 25 signatures for my ballot initiative. On the ballot. So I hope the city of Wayne falsely claims I'm in arrears to them, right? I hope they do that. I hope that they do that. That will be the biggest lawsuit, man. You know, they're that stupid. You know, I think, like I said before, I mean that was really their plan from the get-go. You know, put me in jail and, you know, charge me. You know, those fines have been waived by the court, right, due to injustice, right? So now the bullshit fines and fees, court costs, I don't gotta pay that. So, but they're of course gonna say that I owe back property taxes, $14,500 or something, City of Wayne. So I don't know, whatever Jennifer Stamper or Jennifer Tramper, whatever she you know, calculated, right? Whatever her opinion is. All right, we'll see. Like I said, we're gonna figure out who's behind that, right? Who gave the okay for that too? We're gonna find all that. All right, anything to do with my property, it's in the preservation order, so we're gonna be getting all that information. But see, the city of Wayne doesn't have a lot. Apparently, everything's on paper, right? So, paper, electronic, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. So, I'm gonna need it. And if you don't have it, City of Wayne, adverse inference. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Justice is a bitch, right? It's a bitch. Man, it's, you know, it was real funny watching them smile, and when they were prosecuting me maliciously and vindictively and retaliatorily, and you know, they were smiling at the proceedings and the hearings, and you know, Carrie Miller, I mean, she was smiling, she was happier than pigs and shit. Carrie Miller was a happy-go-lucky individual for the first few proceedings with Warwick. You know, she was happy-go-lucky, right? Until she wasn't. Until, oh, wait a minute, no codified ordinance, eh? Oh, wait a minute, the City of Wayne knew about it? It's on their city website. Oh, shit. Boy, that's fucked. That is fucked. So, I don't know. I'm the bad guy for noticing, apparently, or for pointing it out. Which, again, that's some pretty bizarre logic. I'd love to hear it. Love to hear this logic, right? How does that work? How is that constitutional? So you break into someone's house, right? Their curtilage, it's their house, uniquely protected by the Fourth Amendment. You don't have consent, right? You bypass consent, right? You didn't even knock on the front door, right? That's the knock and talk doctrine. You know, front door, right? Of course, you can't just walk into someone's backyard. You can't walk into, you know, that's, you know, can't do that. So, you know, you're in the curtilage without any consent, and you don't have a warrant, and you're like, okay, well, that's not looking good. Then without a warrant, it's presumed to be unreasonable unless the prosecution can articulate, you know, one of the few exceptions to this, right? If they can articulate, basically the only argument that they would have would be an exigency, right? They would have to have true emergency life or death situation or a reasonable belief that that was occurring, right? Well, kind of is undercut by the fact that they apparently got a complaint earlier in the day, had several hours to coordinate this. So if you have several hours to wait, well, then it's not an exigency. And then, of course, when you show up and you demand the homeowner put it out, it's kind of like, okay, well, that kind of undercuts the exigency too, right? I mean, if something's an emergency, like if somebody's house is on fire or their shed's on fire or their car's on fire, the typical protocol for the fire department would be to, like, evacuate the area, right? Get everybody out of the house, get everybody away from the car, get everybody away from the house, away from the shed, whatever, right? And the city of Wayne did none of that. The city of Wayne did. I mean, it's all on video. I mean, it's been on video. They did none of that. And so, that is just remarkable, right? That is really, truly remarkable. And then, of course, they had time to go back to the road, to call the police out there, to call their supervisor, have a chat, wait for the police to show up, argue with me some more, try to coerce me into putting it out, right? Well, why would you have, if it's an emergency, right, guys, you wouldn't have the homeowner, right, put the fire out, right? If it's an emergency, you're the fire department, you put the fire out. You don't ask the homeowner, hey, your house is on fire, do you mind if we put it out? Like, that's retarded. So I mean, clearly they were there not because of an exigency. They were there because they admitted to why they were there, because their fire marshal told them so. Their fire marshal, Jeremy Schneider, who also approved the fire pit and who wrote the open burn policy, he had instructed the fire department to break into my house. Not once, not twice. I believe, he's authorized it 5 times. So that's the person's job who's really at risk, right? That's probably the person, I would say, he's the most responsible, but he's not the only one responsible. This was a citywide coordinated effort. This was a conspiracy. This was a conspiracy to violate my civil rights. And they did. They conspired together as a city, collectively, and they conspired to, devise of a way to, make an example out of me to get me to shut up, right? So, harass, embarrass, and annoy me, to chill my speech, to give me prior restraint, right, on my speech and my behavior, to treat me like I was, committing vagrancy, right? Like that I was some sort of a nuisance to the community, even though I literally am the showcase of the community. My property is the centerpiece of Glenwood neighborhood, which is the best neighborhood in Wayne, right? So really it's the best part of Wayne, my property is, which is reflected by the value of it, right? The residential value of it is higher than anything out there, so, in Wayne, so by far. So, if the property value's doubled in a couple of years, well, then that must mean I'm doing something right, and that's without the pond, right? So once the pond goes in, that's going to add even more value. So obviously my property in Wayne's the most unique. It's the most everything. Everything about my property is just better than what, sorry, like, I hate to be hate to make you feel bad, I guess, but yeah, it's the showcase of the community, it's a showcase of the city, and whether the city of Wayne likes it or not, that's just how it is, and that's how it's going to be. And if you don't like it, well, again, something about sucking something that's 8 inches, and sucking it to sucking it in its entirety, right? So if you don't like it, you can go suck it in its entirety, right? All 8 inches of it, right? You can eat crow and you can do whatever you want to do. I'm just not. Again, I'm not the one. I'm not the one, and I'm never going to be the one. And You know, I do what I want, when I want, how I want, whenever I want. And that's why people like me. That's why people are gravitated towards what I say, even if they hate me, right? And I'm you know, I put the conversation into motion, and I guess some discussion. You know, it's interesting, right? So people like my platform. Enough people do, certainly to be on the council, right? But you know, really, we're going for that number one spot, and you know, we're going for that number one spot, guys. But yeah, we're good. We're good just being in the room, right? We don't have to be the head honcho, at least not yet. I mean, my wife can be. We can make somebody else, right? Because the mayor position in the city of Wayne is really ceremonial, anyways, right? John Racy doesn't have any real power. I mean, he does have power. He's, you know, definitely been colluding, and he's in on all of this, all these violations. Make no mistake about that. I don't want you to get that confused. But he's not in charge of Wayne, right? He's the head of the council, and he's, you know, obviously got a lot of authority. He's got a newspaper, which is portrayed as the city newspaper, but it's a private newspaper, right, called the Wayne Dispatch. But you know, he's not in charge, and Diane Webb's definitely not in charge either. It's a committee of people in charge, but you know, Kerry Miller, Michael Bosnick, really Kerry Miller, you know, more so than Bosnick. Bosnick, you know, he's more of a puppet. You know, Miller was, you know, in these cases, she was the ringleader. She was orchestrating, you know, this entire thing. Finley Carter, Sergeant Williams, Jeremy Schneider, Carolyn Miller. John Racy, yeah, he's in there. I mean, he's definitely been a part, but he's, you know, he's not at the top of the totem pole, right? And then of course, don't forget about O'Leary. O'Leary, she's up there. You know, I mean, between Kerry Miller and O'Leary and Finley Carter, those are the three. But then of course you got Diane Webb. She, after all, still is the city manager. So, you know, you have. Plus you have the fire chief, right, which he's not, you know, he's been kind of out of the scene, right, but he's ultimately above the fire marshal. So the fire chief, right, he's the one, you know, him and Jeremy Schneider. See, they're all responsible, right? It's like, you can't really say, well, which one's more responsible. It's kind of like, well, that's the wrong question, right? I mean, the better question is, who isn't involved, who isn't responsible, right? Who hasn't had a role to play in this, right? So again, you know, that's why the city of Wayne is, you know, wanting $251,000, $20,000, $30,000 for some FOIAs, right? Because though that information is privy to a lot of things, right? So, you know, I want to FOIA everything. I want to publish everything. I think everything in government, essentially everything, should be published, should be readily available in real time. I don't, you know, that needs to change. This idea that, well, you have to request it and go through this fucking, you know, Tina the llama and, you know, some pedophile looking, you know, creepy fuck Finley Carter, right? Creepy pedophile looking motherfucker, right? With his gay ass fucking penis head, right? And his little thin gay mustache. You know, with his gay little dork ass smile, right? I mean, it's creepy. It creeps me the fuck out. Especially, right, when you see what he did in the Mark Blackwell, Lisa Nocerini case, right? And how he lost his qualified immunity, maliciously prosecuting Mark Blackwell. But, you know, he's one of the ringleaders, right? Finley Carter, right? But then, of course, you got to say, well, Ryan Strong, he's the chief of police, right? So the chief of police and the fire chief are being protected, you know, by the fire marshal and the deputy chief of police. Right, and then of course Diane Webb's being protected, right? They're all, you know, I mean, by Kerry Miller, Brita O'Leary. I mean, Brita O'Leary, Judge O'Leary, right? Pinhead, and then Kerry Miller, Kerry Kmart Miller, Brita Pinhead O'Leary, and Larry Goen, Lori Goen, but Larry Goen, I call her Larry Goen. That's what we call her. She she's had a role to play. Because her and the fire marshal Jeremy Schneider, they're real close, they're real tight. Like I said, it's a small circle and I'm not in it. Not yet, at least, right? But I don't really want to be in their circle anyways, because it's just a big circle jerk and a bunch of, fraud and waste and abuse and, cover-ups and retaliatory workplace and violations of people's property rights, civil rights, tax rights, right? Cruel and unusual punishment being ratified, gag orders, right? I mean, just the whole thing, right? The city of Wayne, like I said, they have a terrible reputation, since the Abraham Hughes lawsuit, the independent workplace assessment, Mark Blackwell, Lisa Nocerini, the Anthony Miller lawsuit, and then, of course, the defense of Alan Leland McFarland Sr. versus the city of Wayne et al. Lawsuits, right? So, yeah, the city of Wayne's reputation has already, for all purposes, it's been cooked, right? But it's really cooked now. It's really cooked now. So, what can you do, guys? I mean, just sit back and watch your city be destroyed, right? That's your zip code. No, I can't. Unfortunately, I have to live in the United States. I'm an American. I can only have one homestead. I can only have one principal residence. I can only have one home of record. I have to have a home of record, right? If I'm a U.S. citizen, it's like literally illegal to be homeless, right? In America, the city of Wayne made homelessness illegal. A lot of municipalities are making homelessness illegal. And so, yeah, I mean, you got to have a home of record. You're legally required to. So, regardless of, if I travel the world full time, or, my wife joins the military and I have to go, be with her and raise our kids and, continue my service to my country, Michigan Defense Force, however the service to wherever the service to my country takes me, right? I still got to have a home of record. I still have to, have a home base in the United States. And, Michigan's where my heart's at. And Wayne, Michigan is my city. So, I love it here. As far as, my interactions with my neighbors and, my property. I love my property. I love my neighbors. And I love, the people of Wayne, Michigan. Great people. But I don't love the administration and the government, and don't love that. What's there to love, right? I mean, unless you like, violators of the Constitution and, vindictive and malicious prosecution and gag orders and bond remands, 14, seemingly like over half a dozen bond remand hearings, and, cruel and unusual punishment, punitive, punishment, right? I mean, GPS tether, 3 hours away from home, banished from the city of Wayne, house arrest, can't even go to Walmart. Your wife is 6-7 months pregnant, and your son is verbally autistic or non-verbally autistic, and 3 years old, and yeah, he's not allowed to. You're not allowed to be a father, and you got to live like refugees, right? You got to live like refugees in America in your own home. You can't live in your own home, right? You can leave jail, but you gotta go and you gotta go and fucking live in Montcalm County. You can't live in Wayne, Michigan, and so yeah, I mean the whole thing, right? The city of Wayne, Michigan, exposed my children to my crackhead mother, right? I was forced to live at my mom's, right, or stay in jail, right, for violating a law that doesn't exist, right, or violating the enforcement of a law that doesn't exist, which isn't possible. So for doing something that was impossible to do, I had to, just rot away in jail, or I could go live in Montcalm County with my crackhead mother, and subject my children to that. So, adverse childhood experiences for my children, and trauma for my wife, and trauma for me, and good shit. Really good shit. Really, 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 really in the interest of justice, huh? The city of Wayne, right, Carrie Miller? Really in the interest of justice, isn't it? Yeah, Carrie Miller. Because that's I mean, really, if I look at a single person who's most responsible, it's Carrie Miller. Carrie Miller. So, and she wanted to be considered a city employee. Well, okay. How's that working out for you, Carrie? How is that working out for you, girl? So, yeah, we're gonna hold you to that. You're a city employee. Okay, good. Yeah, you're the city attorney, so you're directing all these dipshits to do all this dipshit stuff. So you're apparently supposed to be the adult in the room, and you're the adult in the room. Which, if you're the adult in the room, City of Wayne's fucked, right? The City of Wayne, like I said, we got to clean house entirely. Everybody, I mean entirely. We have to fucking clean house. I mean, I'm saying, police chief Ryan Strong, Deputy Finley Carter III, Deputy Chief of Police. Fire Chief, whatever his name is, Mike, whatever, Stratner or whatever. Stradner, Jeremy Schneider, Fire Marshal, right? So those four got to go for sure. Larry Goen, right? Or what is it? Larry Goen. Bob Watson, I don't even know if I haven't seen him. Is he still alive? Has the fucking heart attack on a bun got him yet, or is he still kicking? I don't even think he works for the City of Wayne anymore. But yeah, if he's got to go. Because they hired him to try to be kind of like one of the fall guys for him. And then he's like, nah, fuck this. I'm not doing this. Who else? Brita O'Leary, right? Of course, she's ultimately the most responsible because she has the highest position, right? She's above Carrie Miller. She's really the only judge in Wayne, Michigan. So, for her to, find probable cause when it was literally impossible, and then recuse herself from the case. Interesting, very interesting. But yeah, her and Carrie Miller, they were colluding together. They were both in on it, right? Small town politics, village politics. Everybody knows each other. Everyone's in the same room, right? Everyone meets each other regularly. Everybody communicates amongst each other. Make no mistake about it, they do. And yeah, they all knew about this, and they wanted to teach me a lesson because they didn't care for me or something, right? Fuck them. Well, that's my response. Fuck you. You don't care for me. It's called freedom of speech. You don't like it? Well, go move to North Korea. Go move to wherever you want, wherever you want. Go move to Haiti, right? Go move to Somalia. You guys probably voted for the Somalian invasion. Go move to Palestine. Go move to Israel. Go move anywhere, So, I mean, that's just what it is, right? You guys... Diane Webb, of course. I mean, yeah. John Racy, of course. He's the mayor, so it's his city. He's claimed that it's his city. So there you go. Alfred Brock, Mayor Pro Tem. Kevin Dowd, Donald Quarles, Kathy Lawrence, Rob Darwich, Deborah Wise, Tina Parnell. I know I'm forgetting some people for sure, but that's a good start. That's about all of the faces that I can think of that are in on this, that are corrupt as fuck, that we have to get rid of. We have to clean house. I mean, it's just that simple, guys. So there just simply can't be any tolerance for that type of behavior, ratifying that type of behavior. Just like there can't be any tolerance for what happened to John Zook Jr. There can't be any tolerance for whatever the fuck, cruel and unusual punishment, malicious prosecution, vindictive prosecution. There's just simply no there's no tolerance for that. I mean, because that's what it is. I mean, obviously we still have to go into court and all that, but in my opinion, based off I was the fucking victim, and I lived it. So I can say what I say, and if you don't like it, well then sue me for defamation, of course, but then you'd have to disclose all that discovery, right? So, because I'm talking about things that you guys don't want to disclose, so I don't know. Go fuck yourself. Bottom line, I don't give a fuck. So, Michigan Tax Tribunal case that was scheduled for an in-person hearing because I was able to show cause to the Michigan Tax Tribunal, and you know, the city of Wayne likes to force you to follow ordinances that they create, and then they like to punish you for following those ordinances that they created that they force you to follow. Right, and then they try to supersede a state statute and nullify it, right? Because they can, because they said so, right? Because they don't like you, right? Arbitrarily, capriciously, right? So that's what it is. I mean, obviously, I mean the timing couldn't be more clear. So couldn't be more fucking clear. That's what it is, though, guys. I mean, it's the reality of this shit, man. It's the fucking reality of it. This shit from May 9th. I mean, really, March 28, 2024, I was already creeped out living in the city of Wayne. I was already fucking creeped out. You know, a month after I moved here, the fire department, you know, was breaking into my backyard, enforcing laws that don't exist, right? Because they're bored, right? So they just never got the message to stay the fuck off the property. They never got the message that, you know, I'm not the one, and even if I was, they're not it. So, you know, even if I'm not the one, they're not the one. So there's no, you wanted to stick your dick in a hornet's nest, right? Well, have fun with that. You know, that's that's the analogy I'm going to use today, because I can't think of any other way to put it right now. You know, we're all, everyone in my household, right? We have a lot of registered voters. A lot of people in the neighborhood, registered voters. I know a few people in Wayne, believe it or not, and I haven't even truly begun to even talk to people. I mean, that's what's really, you know, I don't know if the city of Wayne's already struggling like they are now with me, and they, you know, have to resort to these tactics already, and I haven't even gotten started, guys. Then I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do when I start knocking on every door in Wayne, and you know, man, I don't know. That's really scary shit. It'd be scary shit for them, right? They're like I said, they're gonna kill me. That's what it boils down to. They're gonna try to kill me. So I know that's where this leads to, Charlie Kirk, and you know, I know where it leads to, guys. I'm not oblivious to it, but I'm just not afraid. I'm not afraid of these people. I'm not gonna say I never was afraid, or I don't get afraid, or you know, I don't have to deploy courage, right? I mean, that's what all this is. It's just the courage to continue going, and the courage to ensure that it's carried out, right, thoroughly and properly, and you know, no matter what, again, as I said previously, no matter what it takes, no matter how many days I got to spend in jail. I mean, days that they can legally keep me in jail. I'm not gonna, you know, spend 2 months in jail just because, right? You know, no, at that point, that's just cruel and unusual punishment, and you know, that's just sadistic. And you know, what the city of Wayne did to me was sadistic. I mean, absolutely sadistic, and it was intentional infliction of emotional distress. It was deliberately designed to, you know, chill my speech, to prior restrain me, to run me out of my home, to get me to sell my home, to get me to leave my home, to make my family want to go back to the Dominican Republic, to make us live like refugees. I mean, the city of Wayne did all of this, knowingly did all this, colluded with each other, and then refused to hand over, you know, ordered discovery. And so it's hard to process, guys. It's a continuous process to process what the city of Wayne has done to me, right, and my family and my kids and the various people who have lived in my house along the way, right? Some people still here, some people left, some people still remain, but everybody was impacted very deeply by the city of Wayne's actions and just an absolute mess. An absolute mess. Something that never should have happened, that, you know, in any reasonable, sane city would never happen. You know, people aren't that fucking naive and stupid to think that something like that would fly, right? I mean, it's insane. But it's almost as if the city of Wayne doesn't care because it's not their money that will ultimately have to be paid, right? So collectively, it's like, who gives a shit, right? So that's kind of been their mentality throughout all this. You know, it's just kind of like, oh well, you know, when you're spending other people's money, I guess you can act like that, right? So I don't know. Well, I'll give you a taste of your own medicine. But it's whatever. Like I said, I'm not going to be silenced. I'm not going to live on my knees. I'm not going to be told what to do on my own land. I'm never going to be disrespected on my own land in front of my family. And yeah, City of Wayne's going to have to pay dearly for that. Beyond just monetary, right? Because I'm going to move into your city hall there and, you know, make that my my second home away from home, right? City Hall. So gonna be hanging out at City Hall with the people, and we're gonna be making Wayne great again, or making it great for the first time, depending on your perspective, right? Bring it back to that village quality, that village mentality, right? Village level taxes with village level hospitality, right? I mean, it should be hospitable. Small town USA should be the happiest, friendliest, go lucky place in the whole United States. Lowering taxes, cutting ordinances, cutting spending, consolidating government, nullifying redundancy, right? Making the status quo eat crow. Making the status quo eat crow. It is what it is, guys. It is what the fuck it is. So we'll see. We'll see where life takes us. But in it to win it, baby. In it to win it. But I appreciate having a conversation with you guys today. I will try to check in with you later tonight or tomorrow, or possibly Monday or Tuesday. Because I got to get to work, guys. I got to get to work. Got a lot of shit I got to do. I got a lot of shit I got to do, and I got a lot of shit that I don't even know I got to do yet. So all I can do is do what I can. Hopefully it's enough. Hopefully it's enough, guys. But if it's not, I'm still okay with it. I'm okay with how it's went so far. well, I wouldn't say I'm okay with it. I'm not. I'm at peace with it, or I'm beginning to get at peace with it. Would be a better, more accurate way to describe it. Because I know my words will get misconstrued and twisted, and bent into a pretzel to try to fit a narrative or paint a picture or a story or so. It's whatevs though, right? It's whatevs. You know where I'm at. I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to find. You know where I'm at. But just know, if you're coming for me, you better come in hot. 'Cause I'm locked and loaded this time. I learned my lesson. I'm not ever being thrown in the back of a cop car and being illegally searched and detained and arrested because of doing something that I want to do on my land. Definitely not. Especially something that's perfectly legal. Popular sovereignty says, right? All my neighbors, right? There's about a dozen lots in Wayne that are over an acre or so. And all of these properties have fire pits, bonfire pits. And most of the properties on the east side where you can't even legally have a fire pit now because the City of Wayne 2025-02 ordinance, their void for vagueness ordinance that they passed, it outlawed basically fire pits for 99% of all lots, residential lots in the City of Wayne. But there's still a few, right, that are geometrically big enough, right? From a geography standpoint, they're big enough. I don't know what the word is right now. But from a mathematical standpoint, they my two lots, my neighbors to my left, to my right, my three neighbors to my right, and my three to my left, and then a couple behind me. There's like 12, and then there's Al Haynes. No, I do. I'm sorry. What's up? What can I do for you?
The instructions just say walk to downstairs patio window and.
Oh yeah, right here. He's right here.
Okay, I'm like, I don't see any.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, no, it's okay.
Damn. City of Wayne gonna take that and use that. Oh, do you live here? No, I do live here, guys. I do live here, obviously, but some random person asking me, do I live here? Yeah, sorry, I didn't know. I thought you was some random. Someone asked me, do you live here?
A little suspect too.
No, you're all good. Thanks, though. Yeah, you too. Oh man, that's funny. That's crazy timing.